Listen to Sergio Sanchez every morning on News Talk 710 KURV and on the Radio Parami app. Stay informed with exclusive interviews from top local and state leaders, plus economic development news, business, and medical reports, and all the local news from the RGV. It's everything you need to know to start your day right. Sergio Sanchez and News Talk 710 KURV on the free Radio Parami app. Download it now.
Hearings. America's listening to
Harbor Freight knows time is money. So for our Spring Black Friday sale, we're getting straight to the deals. This weekend, you get 35% off jack stands, 56-inch roll cabs under $800, and 2,300 PSI electric pressure washers under $190. See? Straight to the point. So you can get straight to the savings. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until April 13th, 2025 while supplies last. Limitations apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
And we mentioned deportations. There's another court challenge as a legal U.S. resident is fighting the Trump administration trying to remove him. Mahmoud Khalil is accused of violating his visa conditions in his anti-Israel protest last year at Columbia University, with the U.S. alleging that he was sympathetic to Hamas, a terrorist organization. In New York, a family that was detained in an immigration raid last month and sent to Texas is returning.
Authorities haven't given a reason for the release of the woman and her 3 children. Their names have not been made public. They were detained late last month while investigators were making an arrest at a farm in upstate New York as part of an unrelated criminal case. The family's detention getting an outpouring of support, including a demonstration over the weekend that drew hundreds of people to the small town of Sackett's Harbor, where Border Czar Tom Homan has a home and where the children go to school. Homan told a local TV station last week the family was in the country illegally, though advocates say they're in the process of seeking legal status in immigration court. In New York, Lisa Lacera, Fox News.
Tension at the Korean border today. The South's military fired warning shots as North Korean soldiers crossed over the border. Those troops did not return fire. Instead, they just returned to North Korea. As South Korea deals with political turmoil.
South Korea's snap presidential election is set for June 3rd. Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment was confirmed by the country's constitutional court last week, starting the clock on a 60-day deadline. Yoon's conservative People's Power Party is seen by many as facing a battle to hold on to power. The Liberal Democratic Party looking to seize on the damage done by Yoon's botched attempt to impose martial law. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
In Kazakhstan, 3, 2, a launch. A Russian Soyuz taking 2 American astronauts and a cosmonaut to the International Space Station for an 8-month stay. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
News Talk 710 KURV, broadcasting from the Valley's All-American Truck Headquarters studio at PayneAutomall.com.
Happy Tuesday. It is April 8th, 2025. You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News. This is News Talk 710 KURV. Join us at Radio Parami. You get that free app. You can tune in via your smart device, via your phone right now. Show producer Fred Cruz. I'm Sergio Sanchez, and we got AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine on standby. If you're still cleaning up after the big flood and storm a few days back, City of Edinburgh is now offering some roll-off containers for the collection of brush and bulk trash items. Again, this is for Edinburgh, and residents can use those containers for tree branches, shrub, tires, plastic items, furniture, anything damaged during the recent storm. A man from Edinburgh accused of killing a bicycle rider back in 2023 is due in court. 20-year-old Alan Nicolas Rios will be arraigned on charges of intoxication, manslaughter, and accident involving death. Investigators say that Rios hit and killed 36-year-old Amilcar Gomez. The accident happened at Tower Road and South Trail, summer of 2023. State troopers saying that Rios was belligerent, uncooperative, and showed signs of being intoxicated following the accident. Overpass in McAllen will be shut down. They got to do some work over at TxDOT. It is the 2nd Street Bridge over I-2 will be closed Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Will reopen on Thursday morning. Another look at tariffs. Not everybody against those tariffs. An example, American cattle ranchers are lining up behind President Trump's tariffs on beef.
We have to deal with a little bit of pain to have some gain, right? And I think we're going to have to just do that.
Steve Lucy is a 5th-generation cattle rancher.
I don't think any of us know what's going to happen with these tariffs, but what we do know for a fact is that the American beef industry has been on the short end for a long time.
Lucy is saying that many countries have been imposing tariffs and some non-tariff trade barriers, preventing American ranchers from sending their beef overseas. The president's tariffs are having an effect on energy prices.
A week ago, a barrel of West Texas International was going for over $71. It opens today at under $61. Carr Ingham is president of the Texas Alliance of Energy Producers.
It's a concern about falling energy demand in the future because of an onset of economic weakness in 2020 caused by COVID, and then 2025 caused by these tariff concerns.
Texas is a huge energy state. Ingham says if this keeps up and big oil company stock prices continue to fall, there will be layoffs along with less energy exploration. Barbara Schwartz, News Talk 710 KURV.
And again, one of the top stories this morning in business is that China will be slapped with another 50% in tariffs if they don't back down from their retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods placed last week as a result of President Trump increasing tariffs on China. And right after AccuWeather, we'll tell you how on X, on Elon Musk's X, how satire pages now need to be labeled as such starting this week. It is AccuWeather time, and AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine joining us. I want to say thank you first to Dougie and all the gang over at Martin Farm and Ranch. What do the deer need for maximum antler growth? They need Purina feed at Martin Farm and Ranch Supply. You will find it. You stop by. You say hi to Dougie for us. Meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine joining us with the 7 o'clock numbers. What you got across the area, Jeffrey?
Well, it's nice. 53 in Brownsville under clear skies, and actually it's clear across the entire state. 52 in McAllen, 51 Harlingen, 54 in Weslaco, and Edinburgh is at 50.
Very nice. And I noticed in AccuWeather.com, you guys are not in a hurry to raise temperatures very much. So should be like highs in the 80s for a while, right? Like the rest of the week?
Yeah, pretty seasonable for this time of year. 87, the average high for McAllen. And really, we're going to be looking at temperature ranges in that mid to upper 80 range. And there is going to be a couple times where we get to the 90s, but it's not going to be significantly above average for this time of year. So really comfortable. It's all sunshine. One thing I do want to mention, and I believe I have this available to me, the sun angle is much more. UV index is all the way up to 10. So got to start wearing that sunscreen if you haven't already.
There you go. As a result of the beautiful blue skies, clear skies, you get more direct sunlight.
Yep.
In your skin. Okay.
And trust me when I say I'm even getting burnt up here too. You know, it's not as bad. I think we have a 6 or a 7 when it's clear, but I'm starting to change. You know, I'm starting to get red.
Stay in mom's basement, okay? Just stay.
No, it's too cold down here.
Stay at the office. All right, pal. Do you know what an empanada is?
I am familiar with them. My sister makes really good empanadas.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
So
well, a lot of our family does a lot of Mexican dishes, believe it or not.
okay. I was about to ask. Hey, maybe is your sister like half Latina, Hispanic, or something like
I don't
that?
think we have any. We just like the food.
Like the food, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. And wrap up some empanadas and take them with you to the zoo because it's also National Zoo Lovers Day.
Ooh, there you go.
Just don't piece them off and don't piece them off and throw them at the monkeys. Just got their own unique diet. All right, thank you, pal. That's AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nording. What a gorgeous morning! My goodness, temperatures low to mid 50s across South Texas. Time is 7:11 on the Valley's Morning News. Hey, stick around at 7:15. I got a conversation with you with Dante Galeazzi. He's with the local growers, International Growers Association. Farming is still a major part of our economy. They got a big get together in Houston, going to continue to sell what local growers are producing. 10 years now, they've been doing that big convention. This time it's in Houston, and we hope to join them on Friday. Live broadcast from Houston at Viva Fresh is what they call it. So join us for that conversation coming up at 7:15. If you are on X, on Twitter, parody accounts, satire accounts on X are facing new strict rules. So effective this week, these parody accounts, they will be required to use the word fake or parody as the first word in the account. They're also required to use images that are different than those that they are representing. West Texas Eagle Pass. Remember the name Shelby Park. You've been paying attention to the news. Shelby Park was right at the center of the illegal immigrant flood that came in during the Biden administration. So that park in Eagle Pass is open again to the public after the withdrawal of Texas State and National Guard border forces. Shelby Park, next to the International Bridge across the Rio Grande. January 2024, the Department of Public Safety and Texas National Guard started using it as a staging area for their anti-illegal immigration operation called Operation Lone Star. Time is 7:13 on the Valley's Morning News. No more free money experiments at Texas cities.
Texas looking to join a number of Republican-led states that have banned these programs, which offer no strings attached cash. Backers at a hearing this week say they're un-American.
There's no accountability and no long-term plan, no clear outcome except one, discouraging work and fostering government dependency.
Paige Terryberry is with the Foundation for Government Accountability. A number of Texas cities have tried these programs. The state Supreme Court blocked the one in Harris County, which was attacked by Attorney General Ken Paxton for its cost to operate.
Time is 7:14 on the Valley's Morning News. Yeah, a heartbreaker for the University of Houston Cougars. And they were leading, Freddie. Oh, my goodness. I think they were up by 12 at one point. And final score, they lost by 2 points against Florida. See, you know what these dudes have been known for? They're like the cardiac kids. They've been known for coming back from behind and winning. They made the mistake of going ahead. And they lost in the end. Well, it was a great season. What I wanted to ask you, Freddie, since you're the expert on all this, well, you might know. Are they juniors or seniors, all of them?
No, remember the one's a fifth-year senior.
Oof, my goodness.
And with the NIL, they might leave somewhere else.
That's true.
Transfer.
I don't know if they want to leave the Houston program. That's a good program. That's a good program.
Money talks.
Well, that's true. Now you got money involved in the program. Okay. So you're saying that half the team is gone, or
I don't know.
You don't know how many are seniors.
Mm-mm.
You just know there's one fifth-year senior.
But with that said, maybe they'll bring in better players.
Okay,
because money talks.
Well, let me mention again, UTRGV. They won the national championship where it matters. The chess team, the nerds. National champs, UTRGV national champs. We say congratulations to them, and we hope to feature them later this week on the morning news or on the talk shows. Thanks for joining us on News Talk 710 KURV. Up next, Dante Galeazzi from the International Growers Association. They got that big convention in Houston on Friday and Saturday. We hope to be a part of it, broadcasting from Houston. How significant, how important the agricultural industry still is in South Texas. It's big money. That's next on 710 KURV.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic, available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You've made the right choice for news and information. News Talk 710 KURV. KURV.com.
17 minutes after the hour, this is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV, home to the Astros play-by-play. Weeknights and weekends, Astros play-by-play on 710 KURV, made possible by the Mission Economic Development Office. Big thank you as well to Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women. Well, I'm looking forward in a few days on Friday morning specifically. We'll be joining you from Houston as well for the 10th Viva Fresh get-together for South Texas growers. And we're trying to bring to market and find new customers for all the veggies and fruits, everything that's grown in South Texas, part of the effort, the annual effort. Now, 10 years running, the Texas International Produce Association. And as you can join us on YouTube and X and Facebook Live, you can see our CEO for the Texas International Produce Association, Dante Gagliazzi. Thanks for joining us early today, Dante. So let's start with something else before we talk about Viva Fresh, your annual get-together. Tell me, what is in the ground right now across South Texas? Mostly just a quick review of what has been planted already.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, Sergio. So right now in the ground, you've got our Texas onions, most notably the Texas 1015, which, by the way, is a state vegetable. You've still got a little bit of our leafy greens crop. We're finishing that up after these rains. So you've got some cabbage, you've got kale, a few of the mustard greens. And then really what we've got big online is the watermelons. So watermelons are in the ground. They're not yet ready. Probably will be here come about the first part of May. So in a few weeks, we should start seeing Texas watermelons.
Well, because of previous conversations on water distribution allocations, that's been short because Mexico has not delivered to some growers. So percentage-wise, how much less do we have in the ground? How much less produce do we have in the ground right now compared to when it was perhaps a better year some years back?
Yeah. So our numbers are down considerably, Sergio. We're probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 40% off on our production figures for fruits and vegetables. And it's because of that water. Without the water, you really can't grow fruits and vegetables. That's really what goes into them. And so a lot of our growers have had to change their crop mix. They probably moved away from leafy greens, went more in towards onions, or they just didn't plant anything. And that's really sad because we can grow a lot of great fresh fruits and vegetables in the Rio Grande Valley.
Dare I ask you, and I know this will be a topic of discussion at Viva Fresh. You have some experts and folks in panels talking about this. The tariffs and the possibility of maybe, and I keep looking at these reports that you got dozens and dozens of countries that might go down to zero in tariffs. U.S. stuff no longer be taxed. And of course, we don't tax stuff coming inbound. So what's your initial feel if we actually do make it there? What do you think? Is that maybe a good thing that South Texas produce would have new markets, or what's the general sentiment right now in the industry?
Yeah, so it's hard to say right now. A lot of our fresh produce in Texas that's grown down in the valley, the international market for it is Canada. And what's challenging right now, Sergio, is Canada has put a tariff on U.S. goods going into Canada ever since the beginning of this trade war discussion. And we now have Canadian goods at 0%. So, for example, our Texas watermelons or our Texas grapefruit or even our some of our leafy greens going up into Canada are facing a 10% tariff right now. So that's challenging. Now, you talked about we have some markets that are now going to experience a tariff that the U.S. has placed against them. And so those commodities coming this way may not come here.
Yeah.
For Texas, our competition is really going to be Mexico and Canada production. And so we work together with North America. I will say, though, that, we are going to have some challenges as South Texas producers. You look at, for example, onion seeds, something like 80% of the onion seeds we use to grow the about 7,000 acres of onions in Texas, they come from South Africa. And South Africa has a fairly high tariff rate. So our farmers may end up paying more for some of those inputs in order to produce their crop.
Dante Galeazzi, CEO of the Texas International Produce Association. Let me take it back to the most recent storms. Now, would you say that all this flooding helped with the crops, or was there some damage, like too much rain in some acres?
Yeah, no, there was definitely some damage out there. So, man, it's tough to speak poorly against rain, especially when it's been as dry as it has been, Sergio. We really needed that rain. The problem was it was just too much all at once. A lot of the leafy greens, especially in those fields down by the river, they got water and they sat in water for a day or two. And the plants just really don't do well in those situations. You've got to have a watering, then that ground has got to dry out. So we're still assessing the damages. Citrus, it's going to be a good thing. That water is really going to help those trees put a lot of moisture into the ground. But, going back to, for example, the watermelon plants are just now starting to take off, and that heavy rain and those plants sitting in that water, man, that could be the conditions for bacteria that makes the plant real weak and doesn't allow it to produce as many melons as it should. So our farmers are still assessing. It's probably going to be another 2 weeks before we fully understand the impact to see what plants come back, which ones suffer, diseases, or which ones are strengthened by it.
Anyone on the front lines complaining about lack of labor?
Yeah, that's an ongoing issue, Sergio. We've it's not like 15 years ago where our farmers had plenty of workers. You had folks on, both sides of the border. You had this domestic crew that lived in the valley and was able to work. And then you had a lot of people that lived across the border and they'd cross every day. We don't really have either of those groups anymore. So our farmers are having to rely on H-2A, and that program is not easy, and it's an expensive program. I mean, the farmers have to work with third-party entities to be able to secure their folks. That's how complicated the paperwork and system is. That said, our farmers are finding a way. They're optimistic. They're still producing great fruits and vegetables. But yeah, labor is definitely a challenge.
Well, happy birthday, Viva Fresh. So tell me about this convention, this get-together, and how beneficial it has been for South Texas growers the past 10 years.
Yeah, it's been hugely beneficial. So, the show is designed to basically promote the region, Sergio. And that's what's so great is you've got grocery store buyers from Walmart and Kroger and H-E-B and Albertsons, and they all come to this event to learn what it is that we grow and import through South Texas. And that's huge because that's responsible for a lot of jobs, almost 300,000 jobs our industry helps create in Texas. And so we love having this opportunity to show off what it is that the Valley does so great, both growing and importing. And that's what Viva Fresh is. It's 200 of our companies basically talking to the grocery stores, talking to the restaurants, talking to the mom and pops, showing them what they have to offer. Mm-hmm. And so it's very exciting for our industry to be able to have this promotional get together that we do every year.
Well, we look forward to joining you in Houston on Friday morning during the morning news programs and talk show there. Now, you were telling me, though, it's not always in Houston. Like you move it around, you go to different parts of the state, right?
Yeah, that's right. We try to show off the state. So next year we'll be in San Antonio for 2 years, and then we'll be in Dallas, and then we'll bring it on back to Houston.
So how much of business that we now do that local growers have, how much of that would you link back to the Viva Fresh powwow, the convention?
Right.
You know, you've been doing this for 10 years. So how much would you say is a result? All these sales as a result?
I would say a lot. And I say that to first off, be humbled. I mean, we have had incredible support from the community in our industry to keep having this show going. But I would say that there has been a lot of business growth. You know, Texas is very important to fresh produce. A third of the U.S. population lives on the East Coast. And so if you ship that fresh produce from Texas, it's going to get there in 3 or 4 days versus if you ship it from California, it takes 7 or 8. And so not only is the food miles fewer, the fresh produce is going to be fresher, and we're going to reach more people for a more effective rate. And so I think our growers have really seen a big expansion because of Viva Fresh, because we're connecting them directly at a national level and at an international level, because we have Canadian grocery stores coming too, and Mexican ones.
Interesting that we're talking so much about agriculture, growing fruits and veggies, selling them. The ag industry, of course, was king, was dominant several decades back here in the Valley. And would you say that Viva Fresh came about as an effort to make sure to elbow in? Because the Valley economy has evolved so much. I mean, look where we are today at the Port of Brownsville with LNG, shipbuilding. We got Elon Musk and spaceships and light manufacturing and trade, all those things. Was this an effort 10 years back to make sure, hey, we're here and we're still doing business?
No, you're exactly right. This was an effort to say, hey, guys, this is what we do in this region. And Sergio, even more than that, it was to demystify our region, right? Because it's so easy to have a conversation or a relationship with somebody virtually these days, but that doesn't mean they fully understand what goes into it. South Texas is very unique. Our growing conditions are very unique. Our international relationships are very unique. So this show was created as a way to, like you said, to promote the region and to introduce and demystify and answer all these questions about what it's like in South Texas, and more importantly, why our region is so critical to feeding America and North America fresh fruits and vegetables.
I'm looking forward to the powwow on Friday, joining you and meeting some new folks that are big players in South Texas agriculture. Maybe some of your more faithful clients as well, to
absolutely
meet them as well. Well, thank you, Dante, for all the time. We look forward to seeing you in Houston Friday morning at Viva Fresh. That's Dante Galeazzi, CEO, International Produce Association. Have a good one.
Thanks, Sergio.
29 minutes after the hour, this is the Valley's Morning News. Check of News, a service of Edinburgh CISD along with UTRGV. Their collegiate high school currently enrolling freshmen and sophomore students. For information, call 956-289-2300. Lawmakers in Austin, Texas, looking to put smoke shops out of business.
There's growing support for a ban on all edible and smokable products that contain THC, which is the active ingredient found in marijuana. It's backed by law enforcement, which say the stuff sold at smoke shops is dangerous.
Many products are mislabeled by out-of-state laboratories, so most consumers have no idea what they're actually consuming.
Steve Dye heads the Texas Police Chiefs Association. The ban has already passed the state Senate. The House version, debated this week, has a carve-out for beverages that contain THC. Makers would be regulated by the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission.
That's Michael Board reporting and clarifying when doctors are allowed to perform abortions in the state of Texas. That is the goal of a bipartisan group debating all this at the state capitol.
House Bill 44 is designed to better define the medical emergency exception to the state's near-total ban on abortions. Current laws left doctors fearful of penalties like life in prison and $100,000 civil fines. Republican State Rep Charlie Guerin authored it.
It's simple. We do not want women to die from medical emergencies during their pregnancies. We don't want women's lives to be destroyed because their bodies have been seriously impaired by medical emergencies during their pregnancies.
Some opponents argue while the bill reaffirms the medical emergency definition for doctors, it doesn't remove the severe penalties against them. In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk 710 KURV.
This is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV, your station for Astros baseball. Check of sports up next.
Spotlight on Your Health, brought to you by DHR Health.
From the ENT Institute at DHR Health, Dr. Charles Tybett.
Obstructive sleep apnea is a condition in which people stop breathing while they're asleep, and their body has to really wake them back up a little bit in order to get them to start breathing again. And these people suffer from chronic sleep deprivation. The main treatment for it is what we call a CPAP machine. But for a lot of folks, it's very difficult to tolerate the treatment because it requires that you wear a mask over your face. And there are, unfortunately, some patients who don't sleep a whole lot better with that than they did with their obstructive sleep apnea. Those are the kind of people that we can really help with the Inspire implant. The procedure is called Inspire. It's for people with obstructive sleep apnea. It is an electrode that stimulates specific muscles in the tongue that causes the airway to open up and allow the patient to breathe while they can remain asleep and get a restful sleep throughout the night. What's really fascinating, the device actually collects data, and that data is uploaded to the Inspire company, and they'll look at that data and can make all kinds of small adjustments to improve upon a patient's sleep. So we'll see that when that device is activated about 6 to 8 weeks after the procedure, they have an improvement in their sleep, but as they continue to turn in data, their sleep continues to get better and better.
From the DHR Health ENT Institute, Dr. Charles Tybett, DHR Health.
This has been Spotlight on Your Health, brought to you by DHR Health. For you, for life.
When it comes to livestock fencing, the folks at Martin Farm and Ranch believe that if you do it right, then you only do it once, which means by utilizing high-quality materials like Stay Tough fence products and Martin's expertise in fence building, you'll get exactly what you need to keep them in or keep them out. High tensile wire like Stay Tough allows you to build your fence using less materials and labor. So for your next fence project, come see the fine folks at Martin Farm and Ranch Supply in Edinburgh. Just look for the horse.
It's Astros baseball later tonight as they visit the Seattle Mariners. First pitch at 8:40. Powered by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women, Mission Economic Development Corporation, and News Talk 710 KURV.
The 710 KURV Sports Desk is brought to you by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women.
The Houston men's basketball team fell in the national championship game to the number 1 seed Florida Gators 65-63.
Give it up. Cryer, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, sharp. He walked. He can't touch it. He can't. 1 second. And it's over. Florida is back on top of the college basketball world.
Houston had as large as a 12-point lead in the second half before Florida came storming back. The Astros blew a lead in the 8th inning after allowing a 2-run go-ahead single to Jorge Polanco as they dropped their first division game of the year to the Mariners 4-3. Hayden Wesneski pitched 7 innings, allowing only 2 runs on 3 hits. The Rangers were up in Chi-Town to take on the Chicago Cubs with Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. Evo would struggle, allowing a run in 3 of the 5 innings he pitched, and the Rangers' bats would go quiet once again, leading to a 7-0 loss. I'm Jacob Ray, and this has been your TSN Sports Minute.
Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan combined for 80 points to help the Kings rally from 18 down, top the Pistons for their 3rd straight win, have a 1-game lead over the Mavs for 9th in the West. On the ice, the Blues fall to the Jets, ending their 12-game winning streak. Nationals clip the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani, double shy of the cycle since starting the season 8-0. Dodgers have dropped 3 of their last 4. That's sports. I'm Rhonda Moss.
AccuWeather says highs for today should be low to mid-80s. And across South Texas, temperatures mostly mid-50s. It's beautiful, nice and cool all across South Texas. And keep that weather. We should have highs in the 80s for several days and then lows in the upper 50s, low 60s for a while. Border Bridge wait times as posted on KURV.com. Let's go back to the website. Right-hand margin. Let's see what Customs is reporting. So we link back to them. 15 to 20 minutes at Ansalduas and Hidalgo. The FAR Bridge for McAllen is 45 minutes. Brownsville, they've been busy. 1 hour at least at B&M Gateway at the Veterans Bridge. Thank you much for making us a part of your morning. And yet again, you'll hear me say this a lot. Radio Para Mi. Look for it. It's free. Radio Para Mi. It's a free app. All the Radio United radio stations were right there. Radio Para Mi. Look for it. Download it. Free. And look for a 710 KURV Business News check of your money up next. And speaking of money, owning a rental sometimes is just more trouble than it's worth. Some of y'all might be there. Some of y'all crossed that finish line some time back. Who do you call? May I recommend that you have a conversation with the Ryan and Brian real estate team, top real estate team in this entire region, and the only people that I'm trusting to sell my home or help me buy a home near future. Let me give you an example. Out of Harlingen, a duplex that was on the market, needed to sell, was not selling, was not getting any interest, was not getting any phone calls because, well, the owner of that duplex did not call the Ryan and Brian real estate team first. But at some point, the sun broke through the clouds. Oh, he saw the light and called the Ryan and Brian real estate team. Ooh, and their aggressive, successful marketing approach, it worked. You see, because the Ryan and Brian real estate team, they reached thousands of potential home buyers, making sure all those ears and eyeballs know about your home. And in this case, that rental property, that duplex in Harlingen that needed to sell. So with the Ryan and Brian real estate approach, the aggressive approach, generated so much interest that duplex sold for the most money. Full asking price. That's what the owner wanted. That could be you. Call 956-540-2536. The website, ryanandbrian.com. That's ryanandbrian.com.
If you're selling your home, don't be trying. Call Ryan and Brian. Go to ryanandbrian.com.
If you're looking to improve your overall health and have a better quality of life, Dr. T's Primary Care is the place to go. If you feel tired or stressed or less motivated, if you're moody or if you have trouble sleeping, Dr. T's Primary Care will evaluate you and work with you to address your health concerns, including testosterone or menopause treatment, peptide treatment, IV vitamin infusions. Their licensed staff will take the time to listen to you and work with you to improve your overall health. Check out the website, drtsprimarycare.com. Give them a call in the McAllen at 956-803-0058 in Harlingen, 956-368-5247.
You pay thousands of dollars in property tax every year, and it just seems to get higher. Well, what if I told you you could potentially reduce what you pay each year significantly, and it would cost you absolutely nothing? Either we make your property tax bill smaller, or you pay us nothing, zero. We're CAD Tax. CAD Tax has successfully been reducing property taxes for years, saving people thousands of dollars, and that reduces your monthly payment to the bank, or it puts money directly into your pocket. Homes, apartments, commercial properties, CAD Tax makes it easy for you. CAD Tax, you pay absolutely nothing unless they win. And when CAD Tax wins, you win. 956-631-SAVE. CAD Tax, a local company where the owner will answer your call right now. 956-631-SAVE. 631-SAVE.
Cat tax, cat tax, cat tax, cat tax.
710 KURV. Streaming live at KURV.com. Powered by Texas Mutual Workers Compensation Insurance. A policyholder-owned company. Work safe, Texas.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro said on CNBC that it's Vietnam's non-tariff cheating that matters, citing examples such as how Chinese goods are often exported from Vietnam and intellectual property theft. This suggests that the Trump administration sees tariffs as a way to fundamentally change global trade. Colossal Biosciences, a Dallas-based biotech firm with a $10 billion valuation, has announced a new breakthrough in its mission to resurrect extinct animals. The company said it has created 3 dire wolves, a species not seen on Earth in more than 12,000 years. Senator Dave McCormick said it is too soon to pass judgment on the sweeping tariffs imposed by President Trump. On Monday, financial firm Goldman Sachs issued a new forecast pinning the likelihood of a recession at 45%. That's up from 35% the previous week. Futures are sharply higher as markets rebound from Trump's sell-off. Dow futures are up by more than 1,100 points. On Monday, the Dow lost 349. That's your money now.
Thank you much for joining us on the Valley's Morning News. AccuWeather says highs today, mid-80s. And right now, temperatures mid-50s. That's the pattern. We should be in the 80s, mid-upper 80s for a few days. And then overnight lows in the upper 50s and low 60s. This is the Valley's Morning News. This is News Talk 710 KURV. You can join us at Radio Para Mi. Download that free app and listen live at Radio Para Mi. Highly trained water purification experts at Culligan, waiting for your call today so that they can install at your house or at your office what they did for me and Delia years ago. Ooh, I've been doing the math on this. Man, I think they've been with us like almost a decade now. Culligan, better water, pure and simple. Highly trained individuals, experts in water purification systems for industry, for laboratories, for medicine, for all types of businesses. But these same top experts, highly trained Culligan experts, get one of those nice people come over to your place, install a water purification system at your house, cleans up all the water coming in from the city, and allows you freedom. Gives you a lot of time back, because if you do inventory, and I did this a long time ago, take inventory, how much time you dedicate every month going back and forth, big box store or HE Butt or some other place to go buy packs of water or jugs of water. Man, that's a lot of time and time. I know, especially for KURV, this audience, time is very expensive. Not to mention, you're burning gas and all that. And you got all those plastic bottles empty or half used all over the place. Be done with all that. Just call Culligan. It's an amazing value, only $35 a month. You got a steady stream of satiating, healthy, great tasting water. Again, call Culligan, 956-399-1780.
Carsforkids.org. Right off the car, not the kid.
Got an old or unused vehicle you need to get rid of? Donate it to the original carsforkids.org. Towing is free, and you'll be helping kids in our communities. Carsforkids.org is the best vehicle donation charity impacting the lives of kids thanks to your vehicle donations. Carsforkids.org picks up vehicles in any condition, and you'll receive a $50 gift card. Don't delay. Donate today.
A great deal on the construction equipment you rely on. Right now at ASCO, get 0% APR financing for 48 months on select case skid steers, compact track loaders, mini excavators, and backhoes with approved credit. Plus, no payments for 90 days on skid steers and compact track loaders. And with a 3-year, 3,000-hour premium extended warranty included, you're covered from the start. Need equipment? We're on it at ASCO Equipment. Visit ASCOEQ.com. Financing terms and conditions apply. See ASCO for details.
This is your news, weather, and talk station. News Talk 710, KURV, and KURV.com.
Happy Tuesday, and welcome to what is News Radio for South Texas, the Valley's Morning News. Show producer Fred Cruz, AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine. I'm Sergio Sanchez. You and family, thank you so much for joining us on this gorgeous morning. My goodness, temperatures mid-50s across South Texas. Highs today should be mid-80s. News on 710 KURV, a service of Jay Gonzalez Injury Attorneys, ready to fight for you. Call 1-800-CAR-CRASH.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump says he'll add another 50% tariff on Chinese imports if new tariffs on American products there are not lifted today.
Officials are warning today the U.S. threat to escalate tariffs on China is a mistake on top of a mistake, and once again exposes the blackmailing nature of the U.S. China will never accept this. If the U.S. insists on its own way, China will fight to the end.
Fox's Peter Ducey. High-level talks to limit Iran's nuclear program are scheduled Saturday.
A deal is preferable to the alternative, President Trump says.
I think if the talks aren't successful with Iran, I think Iran is going to be in great danger.
Earlier this year, President Trump sent a letter to Iran's supreme leader asking for negotiations. At the time, Iran's president said that proposal was rejected.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Oman is hosting the talks on Saturday. America's listening to Fox News.
It's 15 to the hour. This is the Valley's Morning News. In Edinburgh, residents there can now order some roll-off containers for collecting all sorts of trash that came as a result from the big flood and storm a few days back. Edinburgh residents can use the containers for tree branches, shrubs, tires, plastic items, furniture, construction supplies, electronics, all that stuff ruined by the recent flood. Overpass in McAllen set to close tomorrow night. They're going to be working at TxDOT there. It's the 2nd Street Bridge at I-2 will be open 6 o'clock Thursday morning if TxDOT is finished. The president's tariffs are having an effect on energy prices.
A week ago, a barrel of West Texas International was going for over $71. It opens today at under $61. Carr Ingham is president of the Texas Alliance of Energy Producers.
It's a concern about falling energy demand in the future because of an onset of economic weakness in 2020 caused by COVID and in 2025 caused by these tariff concerns.
Texas is a huge energy state. Ingham says if this keeps up and big oil company stock prices continue to fall, there will be layoffs along with less energy exploration. Barbara Schwartz, News Talk 710 KURV.
There is a 25% tariff on vehicles that are inbound from other nations. That is already in effect. Comments from One Auto Pro saying, don't let all these tariffs change your mind on purchasing a vehicle right now.
If you are going to buy a car in the next 6 months to a year, I suggest this weekend is the way to do it.
Nick Miles has a YouTube channel called Test Miles.
So everything that's sitting on a dealer lot right now, this second, does not have any tariffs imposed on it. Ultimately, sales were up for some companies as much as 20% already in the last month or so. And you're going to see this weekend a crazy buy.
Okay, Freddie, we're going to do some trade gymnastics again. We're going to be jumping around all over the place. Check this out. So Nick Miles, again, his YouTube channel is Test Miles. Miles saying that these tariffs are not as simple as just one item. These products are being taxed back and forth during production.
If you have a chip that's, let's say, manufactured in Dallas, then that's shipped to Mexico to be put inside a screen. And then that screen is shipped to Canada to be put inside an infotainment system. And then that infotainment system is shipped back to the United States to be put inside a vehicle. Those parts are being taxed multiple times as they cross the border.
There you go. Do you hear it, Freddie? Cha-ching, 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 back and forth. This is the Valley's Morning News. This is News Talk 710 KURV. Join us at our free app for the Radio United family of radio stations here in the Valley and Laredo. We're all under one flag. It's called Radio Para Mi. You download it, you can listen live or rewind. You missed anything, go rewind. 710 KURV is at Radio Para Mi. Download it today.
At Rivetta's Machinery in Donna, they're bringing the best deals on Coyote equipment to your job site, your farm, or your backyard. Right now, take advantage of 0% interest or up to $6,000 cash back on Coyote track loaders and skid steers. These are machines built for maximum performance no matter the task. But don't stop there. They're also offering fantastic savings on Coyote tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles. And whether you're hauling something, mowing, tackling other big jobs, Coyote has the equipment to help you get it done. If you're looking for great deals and great service from a team that treats you like family, look no further than Rivetta's Machinery and Coyote. Start your next project right. Visit Rivetta's Machinery in Donna or browse their deals when it suits you at mynewtractor.com. That's their website, mynewtractor.com. Rivetta's for the long haul. See dealer for full details.
One of the blessings from El Pato, they serve breakfast tacos, patos all day long, and play Think of it, 4 p.m., you're craving some chorizo, potato, cheese, egg, and some of those patos. Yeah, they'll serve those up for you. Order online, elpato.com. You know the location near you, call it in like I do. Have a bag full of breakfast patos ready for you any time of the day. Bacon, egg, chorizo, potato, cheese, you name it. Even barbacoa patos waiting for you. This is one of my favorite times of the year. It's Lent season. That means the nopalitos are back at El Pato. Nopalito and egg plate, only $6.59. Nopalito and salmon plate, $6.99. Fish tacos, $2.99. Nopalitos with egg, the nopalito plate, salmon patty plate. It's all real good. And don't forget the big special for a limited time. The spicy, very delicious, beautiful green tomatillo sauce. Spicy chicken enchiladas with that melted white cheese, rice, bean, and the drink. Only $6.99 for a limited time at El Pato.
If you're looking to improve your overall health and have a better quality of life, Dr. T's Primary Care is the place to go. If you feel tired or stressed or less motivated, if you're moody or if you have trouble sleeping, Dr. T's Primary Care will evaluate you and work with you to address your health concerns, including testosterone or menopause treatment.
Listen to Sergio Sanchez every morning on News Talk 710 KURV and on the Radio Parami app. Stay informed with exclusive interviews from top local and state leaders, plus economic development news, business, and medical reports, and all the local news from the RGV. It's everything you need to know to start your day right. Sergio Sanchez and News Talk 710